Coming up on First at 4, we check in on one family rebuilding almost 6 months after the flood. Plus, the All-A State Tournament continues in Richmond. We'll have the highlights between Harlan and Martin County in a thrilling boys contest.
Plus, we're almost done with the snow showers, but the cold air is going to be around a little longer. Latest on a weekend warm-up, though, coming up as Mountain News First at 4 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, we've seen a little bit of snow today, but in most places it hasn't really stuck around. Will that change after dark? Meteorologist Evan Hatter has the latest on this First Alert Weather Day. Evan?
That's right. We've seen some scattered snow showers throughout the region today, but for the most part, we haven't seen much in the way of too many impacts from that. Still do have technically a winter weather advisory in effect for Letcher and Harlan counties through the rest of the evening. This is mainly for our highest elevations. Let's look at that map right now and you'll see what we're talking about. We have that, it's running until midnight. It's the only one in the state of Kentucky for where we have the highest elevations in the state, and really only in effect above about 2,000 feet and locally higher amounts of over 1 to 2 inches possible over towards 3,000 feet and above over toward Black Mountain. A look at Pine Mountain along US 119 there in Letcher County. Wet road surface, a few scattered snowflakes there on the grassy surfaces, but not even covering the grass just yet. A look from Buffalo Mountain here in Perry County. The sun's trying to pop out here in Perry County, and a look down back into Wise. Yeah, a little bit of snow on the rooftops there at the university, but for the most part, other than a few flurries flying, we're in rather decent shape right now. The heaviest area of snowfall into parts of Pike County, into Dickinson and Buchanan counties right now, and the main kind of player continues to push on out. You see that on the statewide view, but a few more scattered showers. Snow showers trying to work in from southern Indiana. It's a breezy one too. Not quite as breezy as yesterday, but gusts upwards of 20 to 25 miles per hour still possible as we head through the evening. Temperatures chilly, middle and upper 30s out there. So that'll do a dent on those numbers we had last night. Can't rule out a stray flurry, but for the most part, slow clearing tonight with those lows in the low to mid 20s. Details on when we start to warm back up a little bit toward the weekend in a few minutes. Steve?
Today. Thank you very much, Evan. Let's go down to a developing story out of Somerset. The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office is looking for a man after police say he dropped an injured woman off at Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital earlier today. The Sheriff's Office tells us a 44-year-old woman with several gunshot wounds was dropped off at the hospital. Deputies are now looking for 48-year-old Sonny Powell for questioning. We don't have a picture of him yet. Police say he was in a relationship with the victim and was last seen driving a black Jeep. The woman was taken to a hospital in Lexington later on, but her current condition is not known. Police are trying to figure out exactly where the shooting occurred. We'll, of course, update this story as we get more information. We are coming up on the 6-month anniversary of the deadly flooding our region saw last summer. We met the Sloan family of Knott County in August, and this is what their home looked like after nearly 4 inches of water got into parts of their house. They say the final touches inside were finished just 2 weeks ago, but they say they are still finding some mud.
It seems like if I clean everything today, it's right back tomorrow. You know, it's like I've not cleaned at all. It's just hard to get rid of the flood.
The Sloans say they are grateful for organizations like the Christian Appalachian Project, their family, and just strangers for helping them rebuild the inside of their home. We'll have much more from the family later tonight. Detecting alcohol in a driver's body has become a fast routine for police officers, but detecting drugs has been a little more challenging. While a breathalyzer exists for alcohol, finding drugs in an impaired driver is taking more training for officers in the area. Kentucky State Police Trooper Matt Gayhart says different programs have trained officers to detect through body language, among other signs.
Kentucky's done a great job since 2005 implementing a drug recognition expert training class, which is an extensive look into drugs and the way they affect the human body in relation to how they affect your driving ability.
Gayhart says a lot of drug-related DUIs now involve fentanyl in some way. 14 drivers in the 5-county Post 13 area were found using narcotics in 2018. That number jumped to 74 in 2019. Today is day 2 of the All-A-State tournament, and the boys are taking center stage. We had 2 mountain teams face off against each other in a thriller this morning. For more, let's send it over to Sports Director John Lowe. John?
It's always fun when 2 mountain teams square off in a state tournament. We had one such game at EKU this morning. It was Martin County and Harlan in the first round of All-A, and the fans were pumped there at Alumni Coliseum for both Martin County and Harlan in this top 10 battle. Let's pick it up in the first. Luke Hale gets the feed and heads to the hoop. Floater is good. We are all tied up at 5. Harlan moving it into the paint here, and Will Austin gets some space. His 3 is down. That's 3 of his game high 16, excuse me. The Cardinals now with it, and check out the ball movement working around the horn before Matthew Linville will pull up from mid-range, and bang, it is good. Martin County, again, this time getting low. Jacob Sturgill makes a series of moves and settles with the Dirk fader that drops. A little Dirk Nowinski action right there. Throwback Dallas Mavericks. Kyler McClendon gets the feed right here, pulls a deep 3 from NBA range. It's good. And then, excuse me, before half, Cole Trenton up to Jaden Gist, who finishes it off in style. Dragons up 3 at halftime. And they'd come out firing. Austin a Gist for the alley-oop slam right there. They've been doing that stuff all year. And Martin County not going away, though. Hale misses, but gets the second one to go. The art of following your shot, and he gets the foul as well. 39-37 Harlan after 3, and Caleb McClendon, he'll unload from deep. And that one's good for the Dragons, and this one will go down to the wire, but Martin County escapes by the feathers of their wings and win it 50-49, beating our top-ranked Harlan Green Dragons, making it 17 straight wins. Nate Johnson has more from Richmond.
Martin County and Harlan went down to the wire in an instant Mountain Classic. The story of this game was the shooting, something Harlan has been lethal at all season, beating teams from behind the arc and then punishing them inside. Today, though, the Green Dragons just shot 19 of 65 and just 5 of 37 from three-point range. Martin County struggled shooting as well, going 19 of 47 and 3 of 15 from deep, but managed to gut out the close win behind impressive performances from Dre Duff and Luke Hale, who combined for 27 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, and 5 steals, but also from a very supportive and loud home crowd.
Oh, it's unbelievable, especially with the snow this morning. We were a little worried, but man, everybody came. I'd say there'll be a bigger crowd tomorrow night for our guys. It means a lot to our kids. You can tell that they were super excited to play for the fans and the people back home. We had people all across the state, former graduates that were here that only gets to come to maybe one game every 1 or 2 years, so it means a lot.
Martin County will be back in action on Friday at 5 p.m. for their Elite 8 game against Evangel Christian. But for now, in Richmond, Nate Johnson, WYMT Mountain Sports.
All right, Nate, thanks. And we're not done in Richmond. Not by a long shot. The Hazard Bulldogs take the court tonight at 6:30 against Bishop Brossard. More on that one later on Mountain News at 5:30. Steve?
All right, definitely an exciting game this morning. Thank you very much, John. Well, today marks 3 years since Kobe Bryant was killed in a helicopter crash. The retired NBA star, his 13-year-old daughter Gianna, and 7 others were flying to a basketball tournament at his sports academy in Thousand Oaks when the chopper crashed into a hillside. Everyone on board was killed. A year-long investigation by the National Transportation Safety Board found that pilot error was likely the cause of the accident. Kobe's widow, Vanessa Bryant, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Island Express Helicopters. It was settled for an undisclosed amount in 2021. Last year, Vanessa was awarded $16 million in a lawsuit against LA County regarding graphic photos of Kobe and Gianna that were reportedly taken at the crash scene by first responders. An indictment in Shelby County, Tennessee criminal court details a series of charges against the 5 former Memphis officers charged in the death of Tyree Nichols. Chris Wynn is in Memphis with the latest on that.
5 former Memphis police officers are facing charges in the death of Tyree Nichols. The former officers have each been charged with second-degree murder, aggravated assault, aggravated kidnapping, and other charges.
While each of the 5 individuals played a different role in the incident in question, the actions of all of them resulted in the death of Tyree Nichols, and they are all responsible.
Nichols, a 29-year-old black man, was pulled over by Memphis police in a traffic stop on January 7th. He was arrested following a confrontation with officers, hospitalized, and died from his injuries 3 days later. Attorneys for Nichols' family say an independent autopsy shows a severe beating caused his death.
His bleeding was so deep, the hemorrhaging was deep, that it's only consistent with that type of physical contact that those officers made.
Video of the encounter is likely to be released on Friday.
These are more serious than in your typical officer-involved fatality case. But I think after everyone sees the video, I don't think there'll be any questions about those charges.
The city on edge, the public demanding action and accountability. The police chief calling for calm amid the firestorm.
I expect you to feel outraged, but we need to ensure our community is safe in this process.
In Memphis, I'm Chris Wynn.
Authorities have charged 4 people in connection with the reported rape of a 19-year-old Louisiana State University student who ended up dead. The East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office says these men were seen on video leaving a local bar with Madison Brooks in a vehicle. They believe at least 2 of the men raped Brooks, then dropped her off where she was later hit by a car and died. Affidavits claim an 18-year-old and 17-year-old are charged with third-degree rape, and 2 other men, 18 and 28 years old, are charged with being principals to the reported crime. Coming up on First at 4, NASA spots a newly discovered asteroid hurling its way towards Earth for one of the closest encounters ever recorded.
We've also got some hydrometeors out there. Snow showers, as a matter of fact. They're not quite done yet, but they'll work out later tonight. The breakdown and when some warmer air finally gets here, that's coming up.